I stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of my penthouse office, watching the sunset paint the city skyline in shades of amber and gold. My phone buzzed for the 12th time. Another message in the family group chat about their brilliant plan to take over my beachfront villa. "Marcus, you're being unreasonable," my sister Amanda typed. "That gorgeous villa sits empty 11 months a year while we're all cramped in the city." I muted the chat and smiled, remembering how I'd built my real estate empire while they thought I was just a lucky investor who got one good beach property. The villa in question was my first major purchase, 8,500 square feet of prime beachfront property that I'd bought at auction 5 years ago. The family had laughed then. "A beach house? That's your big investment plan?" Uncle Peter had sneered at Thanksgiving dinner. "You should invest in something practical, like my son's startup." That startup had failed spectacularly 6 months later. Meanwhile, I'd used the villa as collateral to secure funding for my first commercial property acquisition. Now 5 years later, Peterson Global Properties owned 47% of the city's premium commercial real estate. But the family still saw me as the quiet cousin who got lucky with one beach house. My office phone buzzed. "Sir, your Aunt Mary is here. She doesn't have an appointment, but she's insisting." "Send her up, Sarah," I said, already knowing why she was here. The family had obviously elected her as their spokesperson. Aunt Mary burst into my office 3 minutes later, designer handbag swinging. "Marcus, darling, I hope I'm not interrupting anything important." "Just running my company, Aunt Mary," I said mildly, gesturing to the CEO nameplate on my desk. She ignored it as always. "About the villa, dear. We've been talking the whole family, and we've come up with the perfect solution for your underutilization problem." I leaned back in my chair. "My what?" "Your villa problem, dear. It's simply wasteful for one person to have such a magnificent property and barely use it. So we've decided, as a family, to take it over." I raised an eyebrow. "Take it over?" She beamed. "Yes, your cousins Peter Jr. and Michael have already hired a moving company. Amanda and her husband have given notice at their apartment. Your Uncle Robert and I will take the master suite, of course, since it was my idea. The rest of the family will divide up the remaining rooms." "It's perfect. And when exactly was anyone planning to ask my permission?" She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh darling, we're family. That beautiful villa needs life, laughter, children running around. Not just one person visiting occasionally. Besides, you're never there, always stuck in this office." She glanced around distastefully at my penthouse view. I checked my watch. Right on schedule. My phone buzzed with an email confirmation. I opened it while Aunt Mary continued listing all the ways the family would improve my property. "And Michael's wife is an interior decorator, so she'll handle the renovations. We'll send you the bill, of course, but it's for the best, really." "Aunt Mary," I interrupted quietly. "Do you know what I actually do for a living?" She blinked. "Oh, something with investments, isn't it? That's how you got lucky with the villa. But darling, this is more important. Family is more important." I turned my computer screen toward her. "Peterson Global Properties. Ring any bells?" She squinted at the screen. "That big real estate company. The one that's been buying up all the—" "Oh, yes, oh, that's something with investments, built the largest real estate development company in 3 states. The villa was just the beginning." She paled slightly but rallied. "Well then, you can certainly afford to let family use it. In fact," I held up my hand, "the villa plans have already been finalized, actually. Would you like to see them?" I pulled up the architectural renderings on my screen. Aunt Mary leaned forward eagerly, then froze. But this shows the villa being demolished and replaced with, what is that?" "The Pacific Marine Research Center," I said calmly. "A state-of-the-art facility for studying ocean conservation and marine biology. The demolition crew starts next week." "You can't," she sputtered. "We've already the moving trucks." Peter Jr. sold his house. "Actually, I can." And I did. The property transfer was finalized 20 minutes ago. But where will everyone live?" I smiled. "That's an excellent question. Perhaps you should have asked it before telling everyone to sell their homes and hire moving trucks. Though I hear there are some lovely apartments available in Uncle Robert's building. The one he quadrupled the rent on last month, forcing out the elderly tenants." Aunt Mary's face flushed. That was different. He's running a business. So am I, Aunt Mary. So am I. She stood up, clutching her designer bag. The family won't stand for this. You'll, what? Sue me. Please do. I'd love to have my lawyers explain to a judge how you plan to seize my private property without permission. I'm sure Uncle Robert would especially enjoy testifying, given the SEC investigation into his business practices that's currently underway. She gasped. How did you? I know everything, Aunt Mary. Every shady deal, every questionable transaction, every secret account. I've spent 5 years watching this family treat people exactly how they're trying to treat me now. The only difference is, I'm not defenseless. But, we're family, she whispered. Yes, we are. Family who never visited me at that villa. Family who mocked my investment. Family who only got interested when you decided to take it for yourselves. I stood up. The demolition starts Monday. I'd suggest everyone cancel their moving trucks. She walked to the door, then turned back. Your mother would be so disappointed in you. I smiled sadly. No, Aunt Mary. Mom taught me to help people. That's exactly what I'm doing. The Marine Research Center will create jobs, advance science, and protect our oceans. That's worth more than another vacation home for entitled relatives. After she left, I buzzed my assistant. Sarah, please send the family the demolition schedule. And call the contractor. I want cameras installed. I'd like to watch their faces when they see the wrecking balls arrive. I turned back to the window, watching the last rays of sunlight fade from the sky. In my pocket, my phone buzzed with panicked messages from the family group chat. I left them unread. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's using what others want to take from you to build something better. Mom would have understood that. The Marine Research Center would break ground in exactly 1 week. I'd already arranged for the local news to cover the demolition of the beloved family villa to make way for scientific progress. I wondered how many of my relatives would show up to protest, not realizing they were being filmed looking selfish and entitled on live television. Sarah buzzed again. Sir, your cousin Peter Jr. is here. He's quite agitated. I smiled. Send him up, Sarah, and call security. I have a feeling we'll need them shortly. Time to explain to another entitled relative why attempting to steal my property was a very, very bad idea. I pulled up the footage of his failed startup's fraudulent transactions on my computer screen. This should be interesting. The elevator dinged. I heard angry footsteps approaching. Let the games begin. The morning after my confrontation with Aunt Mary and Peter Jr., I arrived at my office to find my email inbox flooded with messages from family members. The subject lines ranged from furious "how dare you" to pleading "please reconsider. Think of the children." I sipped my coffee and opened the most recent email, from my sister Amanda. Marcus, you've destroyed everything. Peter Jr. Quote. Wife is crying because they've already sold their house. Uncle Robert had to take blood pressure medication. Mom would be ashamed of you. This isn't what family does to family. Call me immediately to fix this mess you created. Amanda. I archived it without replying and pulled up the live security feed from the villa. As expected, 3 family cars were already parked in the circular driveway. I zoomed in to see Uncle Robert, Amanda, and cousin Michael, standing on the front steps, apparently trying to figure out why their copied keys no longer worked in the locks. I'd had the locks changed the previous night, right after having my security team install cameras throughout the property. The feed switched to show Aunt Mary arriving in her Mercedes, joining the growing crowd of angry relatives. My phone buzzed. Sarah, my assistant. Sir, the construction foreman is on line 1. He says there's a situation at the villa. Put him through. Mr. Peterson. The foreman's gruff voice came through. We've got about 10 people here blocking our survey team from accessing the property. They're claiming to be your family. They are, I confirmed. But they have no legal right to be there. I'm sending over the police and my legal team now. I ended the call and pressed the intercom. Sarah, please activate protocol family entitlement. Right away, sir. Your lawyer is already on his way to the villa. Would you like me to notify the press? Yes, make sure they understand the angle. Wealthy family attempts to block construction of pioneering marine research center. That should play well. I turned back to the security feed. The crowd had grown to about 15 people now. Aunt Mary was gesturing dramatically, while Amanda filmed something on her phone, probably a social media rant about her cruel brother. My phone buzzed again. A text from my cousin Michael's wife Jessica. We spent $3,000 on new furniture for our room. You owe us compensation. I forwarded the text to my lawyer with the note. Add to evidence of premeditated property theft. Then I switched my phone to Do Not Disturb and watched the show unfold. On the security feed, I could see the first news van arriving. A reporter and cameraman quickly set up, filming the group of well-dressed people blocking the entrance to a beach property. Uncle Robert, realizing how this might look, tried to wave them away. But it was too late. My lawyer's town car pulled up next, followed by 2 police cruisers. The family's confident expressions began to falter as officers approached with paperwork in hand. I zoomed in on Aunt Mary's face as she read the court order, a preliminary injunction barring any family member from entering the property, with criminal trespassing charges for violations. Her perfectly maintained composure cracked. Sir, Sarah buzzed again. The Marine Research Center's PR team has released their statement about the project. It's already trending on local news sites. I pulled up the press release. Breaking Peterson Global Properties donates prime beachfront property for revolutionary marine research facility, and a groundbreaking move for ocean conservation. CEO Marcus Peterson has announced the donation of his private beachfront villa for conversion into a state-of-the-art marine research center. The facility will create over 200 local jobs and partner with 3 universities for advanced oceanographic studies. My phone started buzzing again, this time with messages from family members, business associates, and friends. The tone was markedly different from the family texts. Marcus, incredible initiative with the research center. Would love to discuss partnership opportunities. Saw the news about your marine conservation project. Very impressive corporate responsibility. Your mother would have been so proud of this legacy project. That last one made me smile. Mom had been a marine biologist before her illness. She'd spent years teaching me about ocean conservation, taking me tide pooling, explaining why protecting marine ecosystems mattered. The research center wasn't just about thwarting my entitled family. It was about honoring her memory. On the security feed, the family's resistance was crumbling. The news cameras were capturing everything as my lawyer explained the situation to the police. One by one they retreated to their luxury cars and drove away, all except Amanda. My sister stood her ground, arms crossed, facing down the construction foreman. I turned up the audio. This is our family legacy, she was saying. Marcus has no right to destroy it. Actually, my lawyer interrupted smoothly. Mr. Peterson has every right. And this will be a legacy, just not the kind you were planning. Now shall we discuss the legal consequences of your attempted property seizure, or would you prefer to leave voluntarily? Amanda's face crumpled. For a moment I saw the sister I'd grown up with, before money and status had changed her. She turned toward the nearest security camera, looking right at me, though she didn't know I was watching. You've chosen strangers over family, she said quietly. I hope you can live with that. She walked to her car and drove away. I sat back in my chair, feeling a complex mix of emotions. Had I chosen strangers over family, or had they made that choice years ago, when they started seeing me as nothing but a resource to exploit? Sarah buzzed one final time. Sir, the demolition company needs to know if you want to keep any items from the villa before they begin next week. I thought about the family photos on the walls, the furniture Mom had helped me pick out, the seashell collection we'd gathered together that last summer before she died. Yes, I said finally. Have them pack up everything from the library and master bedroom. Donate the rest. Very good, sir. And there's a Mrs. Martinez here to see you. She says she's from the marine biology department. I smiled. Send her in. Dr. Martinez entered, carrying a thick folder of preliminary research proposals. Mr. Peterson, thank you for seeing me. We're incredibly excited about the facility's potential. Your mother's work on coral reef preservation was groundbreaking, and to continue that legacy, I held up a hand. Thank you, Dr. Martinez. But before we discuss the research center, I need to know, did you know my mother well? She smiled warmly. Diana, of course, she was my mentor in graduate school. She always talked about her son, who loved the ocean as much as she did. She paused. She would be very proud of this, you know. I nodded, feeling more certain of my decision than ever. Let's talk about how we can make this facility everything she would have wanted it to be. As we reviewed the plans, my phone continued buzzing with family messages. I ignored them all. Sometimes doing the right thing means letting go of toxic relationships, even when they're family. Especially when they're family. 1 week after the confrontation at the villa, I sat in my office reviewing the media coverage that had exploded across social platforms. My family, it seemed, had decided to wage their battle in the court of public opinion. It wasn't going quite as they'd planned. Amanda's tearful Instagram video about her heartless brother destroying family memories had backfired spectacularly when someone dug up her posts from the previous year. Not a single one mentioned visiting the villa or even me. Instead, they showed her vacationing at expensive resorts, complaining about new money people, and bragging about her husband's real estate schemes. The local news had run a particularly devastating segment. In a surprising twist to the Peterson Villa controversy, public records reveal that none of the family members protesting the Marine Research Center have ever been registered as guests at the property. Sources close to the situation suggest this was less about preserving family memories and more about attempting to seize valuable beachfront real estate. I closed the news tab and opened an email from Dr. Martinez. Marcus, fantastic news. 3 more universities have pledged research funding for the center. Their marine biology departments are particularly excited about the Deepwater Access Point. Your mother's dream of creating an accessible research station for upcoming marine scientists is becoming reality. Also, you might want to see this. Mine of your mother's former students posted it. I clicked the attached link. It was an old photograph from 20 years ago, my mother in her research gear. A young me beside her, both of us examining tide pools. The caption read, "Diana Peterson taught me everything I know about marine conservation. She always said her greatest hope was that her research would continue through future generations." Today, her son Marcus is making that hope reality. This isn't about destroying family property. It's about creating a legacy that matters. Ocean conservation. Diana's Peterson legacy. The post had gone viral in the marine science community. Suddenly, my family's claims about family legacy seemed hollow compared to my mother's actual scientific legacy. My phone buzzed, and Uncle Robert calling for the 3rd time today. I finally answered. "Marcus," he said, trying to sound authoritative despite recent events. "We need to discuss a compromise." "Do we?" "Listen, we understand you're upset, but destroying a perfectly good villa just to spite the family is childish. Why not sell it to us instead?" "I can offer." "Uncle Robert," I interrupted. "How's the SEC investigation going?" Silence. "Because," I continued, "I found it interesting that right after you tried to steal my property, they received an anonymous tip about certain irregular transactions in your real estate dealings, particularly concerning those rent hikes on elderly tenants." "You wouldn't," he whispered. "I already did. Consider it a lesson in consequences." I ended the call. Sarah buzzed in. "Sir, the demolition team is ready to begin. The press is assembled and Dr. Martinez's team is on site. Would you like to watch the feed? Put it on the main screen." The villa appeared, beautiful as ever in the morning sun. News crews lined the street while a small group of scientists and university representatives gathered near the demolition equipment. I spotted Aunt Mary's Mercedes trying to discreetly park down the street. My phone lit up with a text from Amanda. "Last chance to stop this madness. Mom would never forgive you." I typed back, "Mom's research will help save the oceans she loved. I think she'd understand perfectly." Then I pressed the intercom. "Sarah, initiate the demolition." On screen, the first wrecking ball swung. As it connected with the villa's western wing, I saw several family members flinch. Aunt Mary actually covered her eyes. But among the scientists there was excitement. They were already discussing plans for the laboratories that would replace the unused luxury rooms. The research that would happen where pool parties never did. The discoveries that could be made where my family had planned to simply store their excess wealth. Dr. Martinez stepped forward to address the press. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in marine research. Through the generous donation of Marcus Peterson, his mother's legacy of ocean conservation will continue. The Diana Peterson Marine Research Center will stand as a testament to choosing purpose over privilege. I watched my family's faces as they heard my mother's name. Some looked shocked, others guilty. They'd spent years treating her memory as a weapon to manipulate me, never realizing I was building something that would truly honor her. My phone buzzed one final time. I messaged from cousin Michael's wife. "That's it, you're really going through with this." I typed back, "No, I'm not going through with this. I already went through with it. The villa is gone. Maybe spend less time planning to take other people's property and more time building something of your own." Then I blocked the entire family's numbers. On screen, the demolition continued. With each swing of the wrecking ball, another piece of the villa fell. But something else was rising. Not just in blueprints and planning documents, but in purpose and meaning. Sarah buzzed again. "Sir, the contractor needs to know what to do with the cornerstone." I smiled, remembering the day Mom and I had hidden a time capsule there during the villa's construction. "Tell them to preserve it. It's going to be the foundation stone of the research center's main building." Just like Mom had laid the foundation for everything I'd become. The family could keep their entitled expectations and desperate grabs for status. I had work to do. Niece real work, meaningful work, work that would have made Mom proud. As the last wall fell, I saw Aunt Mary and the others finally driving away. They'd never understood that true legacy isn't about claiming what others build. It's about building something worth leaving behind. 1 year later, I stood at the podium facing a crowd gathered for the grand opening of the Diana Peterson Marine Research Center. The morning sun glinted off the modern glass and steel structure that had replaced the villa, its design intentionally reminiscent of ocean waves. My mother once told me, I began, that we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. This center represents that philosophy in action. In the front row, Dr. Martinez beamed. Beside her sat representatives from 5 universities, 3 environmental organizations, and numerous corporate sponsors who joined the project. Not a single family member was present. They hadn't been invited. The local news was covering the event live. I knew my family would be watching, if only to fuel their resentment. Last month, Uncle Robert had been indicted on multiple charges related to his real estate practices. Amanda's husband's business had collapsed after investors learned of their attempted property seizure. Aunt Mary had moved to Florida, claiming the social atmosphere in our city had become intolerable. Today, I continued, we opened not just a research facility but a gateway to understanding our oceans better. The work done here will help protect marine ecosystems for generations to come. I gestured to the wall behind me, where a large portrait of my mother hung. She was in her research gear, kneeling beside a tide pool teaching a young me about marine life. The same photo that had gone viral a year ago. Dr. Diana Peterson dedicated her life to marine conservation. She understood that true legacy isn't measured in square footage or property values. It's measured in impact, in positive change, in leaving the world better than we found it. The time capsule we'd hidden in the villa's cornerstone now sat in a display case in the center's lobby. Inside were her research notes, photographs of our marine adventures, and a letter she'd written to me before she died. My dearest Marcus, remember that wealth isn't just about money. It's about what you choose to build with it. Some will try to take what you build. Let them try. You'll build something better. Love, Mom. She'd known, somehow. Known that the family would try to take whatever I created. Known that I'd need to choose between enabling their entitlement and building something meaningful. As we cut this ribbon, I said, we're not just opening a building. We're opening possibilities. Every student who studies here, every discovery made in these laboratories, every piece of research that helps protect our oceans, that's the true legacy we're creating. The ribbon fell. Applause erupted. Dr. Martina's team immediately began leading tours of the facility. The state-of-the-art laboratories, the educational center, the public marine life viewing areas. Sarah approached with my phone. "Sir, your sister's trying to reach you through the company line." I took the phone. "Amanda." "Marcus," she said, her voice smaller than I remembered. "I'm watching the ceremony online. Mom would have loved this." Yes, she would have. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "We were wrong. All of us. We saw the villa as something to take. You saw it as something to transform." I watched a group of marine biology students entering the building, their faces bright with excitement and possibility. "The center is offering educational programs," I said finally. "Your daughters might be interested. Mom would have liked teaching her grandnieces about the ocean." Silence. Then, "Really? After everything, the center is about building a better future, Amanda. That includes giving the next generation better choices than our family made." After we hung up, I walked through the center. In the main laboratory, Dr. Martinez was showing students the advanced research equipment. In the public area, children pressed their faces against massive aquarium windows, pointing at fish. In the education center, a class was learning about coral reef preservation. My phone buzzed with a message. A photo from Amanda. Her daughter's at the beach, examining tide pools, just like Mom had taught me to do. "They'd love to learn about marine biology," she'd written. "If you'll teach them." I smiled and typed back. "Classes start next month. Mom's legacy continues." Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying what others try to take from you. It's about transforming it into something they never imagined it could be. Something bigger than their greed. Something worthy of the people who taught us to build rather than take. The Diana Peterson Marine Research Center would stand as proof of that truth for generations to come. And somewhere I knew, Mom was smiling. End of story.